Okay. Sure. So I just wanted to make this video as a, like an update to the website, because I have an old video on my YouTube. And it's really come a long way from this. This is some plain HTML, like black and white. It like loads pretty slowly. It doesn't really have any like features or um good UX stuff. It's kind of just like a static page, right? So this new one, is a much more cleaner, follows a lot, like follows all the like UI user experience principles and UI design, like with spacing and font and colors, like having the right contrast and everything. So first I'll give like a little overview of all the stuff on the website and then I'll get into the code a little bit. So this is the landing page and has this little cool like preview gallery thing where you can kind of see some of the paintings that will be in the gallery and everything. And this is for Casey Casey Karowski who like makes artwork and everything. So you can like contact her to buy anything if you like something you see. So this is like almost like a little tutorial. It says click on a painting to see more details. So we can do that straight off the start and we'll see here the title, some information about it. Not all the paintings have all the information. Because you have to like put all that manually in and everything. But it's all stored in a MongoDB database and um most of them will have dimensions for length, width, and depth. They'll have a date when it was created, the type of paint on the type of canvas, and then any type of coding, and then if it's framed or unframed or not, right? And a lot of shopping websites, right, have little like sidebars or bottom bars where you can hover over something and it'll change the main thing, the main display. So this has like a nice little fade in effect, a little bit of a opacity change when you hover over this. But after a few seconds, it'll change, right? So if you just go over it really fast, it won't just change in case you misclick that, right? But if you click on them, it also works, right? Or if you hover over there. So just a nice little seamless thing. When you like, it adds a little toast notification on the bottom right here. And it also increases the size of the heart, which is pretty neat. And so that's that. So also, all of the like links and everything have underline when you hover over them, and everything that's clickable has the pointer icon. So like buttons, pages, everything, just so it's a little bit more clear that you can click on it. The like phone number and emails, you can click on them to actually open up Gmail or phone. Um, there's the about page on the bottom footer bar, and has a couple pictures of Casey, and then like what got her into art, just a little bit about her story and everything, in case anyone is curious about that. Um, Now we can get to the gallery. So the gallery. I think this looks really nice with like the white background and it has an observer where whenever something gets into the viewport, it'll fade in, have this like nice fade in effect. So it's almost like you're scrolling infinitely in this like white area and everything. And by the way, all this is dynamic and everything. All the stuff changes with like the viewport and it's all done using like Flexbox and stuff. I mean, we'll get to that later though. So if you like see something you like and want to like see later, you can like it just by like clicking the like, obviously. So this one I guess I actually already had likes. So here's my guess. So I actually already had a few things liked, and this is just all these likes are stored um in the cookies if you're not logged in, right? So this is gonna say hello guest. You can, maybe you like this one too. So let's add that one. It'll add it to the bottom, and it's the same way that the gallery is created, right? With the grid of four and everything. So you can also unlike them and it'll remove and everything like that, right? So, but if you want to save them so that the cookies will be last, they will last like if I exit out and put in the new URL. Also, it is HTTPS with this domain name, so it's secure and everything. But if I go here, they'll be saved, right? It'll be saved in the cookies for I think a day or so. But if you want to log in and have a more permanent thing, so we'll just do one. So this I've already created before, right? So log in. When you log in, you'll see these new buttons. You can delete account or log out. We'll get to that in a second. But in the profile, you'll see hello one. And then these are paintings that I already had liked. So you can actually like some more and everything. And these will persist, right? So if I log out, it's going to be back to the guest paintings that I liked. But if I log back into one, now let's try a different password, right? This will not work because, it's invalid password. If I try one that doesn't exist, obviously it's not a valid user. So you have to have the right username and password. Now if I already have this created, let's try clicking sign up, right? You can't do that because the user already exists. So all that stuff works for the user and all of these paintings are back and these will persist and everything. It's all stored in MongoDB database as well. So um all the user information and so you can log out, obviously that works, but if you want to delete account, it'll prompt you first. And if you click cancel, it won't delete anything. But if you go through with it, it'll have this little toast notification again, account deleted. We'll be back to the guest. Oh my bad, it's let this load for a second. And if you try to log back in, it won't work. So you have to sign back up again, and you will have no more paintings. So you have to re-like them and everything. So that's pretty much all the features. Getting into a bit of the code. So I tried to organize this as well as I could and everything. Follow a lot of like industry practices. So in this all CSS, this is kind of stuff that's universal. So it's either the CSS for like the nav bar and footer and everything, which I have separated in HTML just for so I don't clutter up my HTML and everything. But it's just nice to have it all coagulated on this thing. So, it has these root variables where I can change the whole color scheme if I really wanted to. I could actually give an example. So it could like add like a dark mode very easily. So main background color, let's just make that black and let's make the text color white. So actually I do actually have this dark theme. In fact, actually, if I just uncomment this, it will update it in that way. So, I mean, this is kind of just an extra thing. So, I mean, I also changed it to green, right? So this is what it would look like if it was dark. I personally think the white just looks a lot nicer, but that functionality is there. But that it just makes it easy to like change. If you want to change something, you don't have to change it in all the places it's used. Anyways, and then it's just got like universal font, and then this is like spacing and pixel links that are like consistent and use certain rules for like you want more spacing with like the paragraph text per how big it is than you want with like headers, for example. But and then there's just some universal stuff there, right? And then there's just general stuff that all the stuff it uses Flex, so all the pages just use Flex for um each like this like nav bar, footer, and main stuff, and then all usually the main ones. This one actually uses grid right here, for the gallery. So the gallery uses grid because it's very easy to make four different columns and have the stuff go onto a new line with a grid. But that's basically that. And then a lot of the like oh this is how it dynamically adds the footer and like nav bar elements and then into the gallery it has this observer. Actually the observer is right here. So this is added to like the gallery and everything to make stuff it's done with a mix of CSS, so it just adds like a class of show to like fade in where it just has like a transition. Um sure it's somewhere in here. There's a transition to it's like right here. It'll like slightly move up and then change its opacity to be fully in, right? Um And then there's also there's this animation. This is for the toast to kind of like appear from the right of the screen, so it kind of like comes from the right onto it. So this is like just an animation with keyframes to move it left and everything. Um, but that's basically like a overview of the new website. So hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you.